The book of Isaiah, chapter 57, verse 2. He shall enter into peace. They shall rest in their beds, each one walking in his uprightness. All right, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rahach Wadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and Shabbat Shalom to the hopeful elect. So today I just want to go into, different retirement plans. You have people that save up for 401k, and the hopeful elect. All right, the remnant of you people of so-called Negro and Native Indian descent, we have a much better retirement plan promised to us. All right, it's the 144k. All right, so in this lesson, I just want to get some scriptures and show the difference between what the world considers a good, decent retirement and what the scriptures prescribe to those that love Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. So this is going to be a 401k versus the 144k. All right, but let me read this again. This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 57, verse 2. It says, he shall enter into peace. They shall rest in their beds, each one walking in his uprightness. Right, we're going to enter everlasting peace. This society does not offer peace even to the elders. People who work their entire lives, they don't enter peace. They enter inflation. All right, you save up your whole life, and then everything you've saved decreases in value because the elites are constantly stealing from people. All right, they steal money, or when you take money, the value of the dollar, when it decreases, that's a way of stealing. It's a highly sophisticated form of theft, and the elites have mastered it. They have everything that they have the entire riches of the world, and they still want more. They're extremely greedy, man. In the kingdom of heaven, we're going to actually have actual rest. All right, you're not going to work. First of all, we're not going to work at all. But even the people at work, they're not going to work their whole lives just to. This place has to go, man. But let me get this real quick for brothers who don't know what a 401k is. It says a 401k plan allows employees to contribute a portion of their salary to a retirement account through automatic payroll deductions up to an annual maximum dollar amount. The contributions are made on a pre-tax basis, meaning they are deducted before income tax is applied. The taxes are deferred until the money is withdrawn, usually in retirement. The employee who chooses a traditional 401k plan gets an immediate tax break with every contribution up to the maximum. The money invested in the fund will not be taxed until it is withdrawn, presumably after retirement. This is called a pre-tax plan. Now, the reason this is, well, there's several reasons that this is off, all right? They sell it as if you're saving money by having tax deferral. What they fail to mention is that when you take taxes from someone, the immediate benefit is obviously if you take money out of someone's check, that's less money that they claim on their taxes. So let's say someone makes $120,000 a year and they take out $10,000 and put it in a 401k. They're only taxed on $110,000 instead of $120,000. So taxes are so-called lowered. But what they fail to mention is that 20 years from now, 30 years from now, when you're taxed, when you take your own money out that you work for, when you get taxed on it, the taxes are higher. You're paying higher. Taxes keep going up. So you're deferring the taxes into a time when taxes cost more. All right, it's another form of witchcraft. Everything Esau does is witchcraft. Once you understand that, you can see the play coming from a mile away. It's like, okay, he's saying that this is a benefit, so this is clearly not right. All you have to do is just wait for the other shoe to drop. That's what happens when you deal with the devil. All right. It says some employers also offer a Roth 401k plan. In this plan, the income tax is paid immediately, but no taxes will be owed when it is eventually withdrawn properly. The Roth is a post-tax plan. The employer offering a 401k plan may make matching contributions on behalf of employees up to a limit and may also add profit-sharing features to the plan. These plans are often vested. That is, the employee must stay with the company for a set time, usually a few years, to have the full right of ownership over the money in the fund. And that's another thing Esau does to enslave people. All right, I'm going to match your input, what you put in the 401k, but you have to stay working at this company until X amount of years. So we could treat you any kind of way. We don't have to give you raises, but because you want them to match what you put in your 401k, you just accept everything. Again, another form of manipulation. And when you go into the world, people really buy into these things. People really dedicate their whole soul. They give their whole spirit to this dream deferred. Okay, I can I can work 40 years, and then 40 years from now, I can take out all this money and I can go to Miami and fish, and you know, it's just like, it's crazy. You trade in your youth for the promise of having a decent retirement, only for this devil to keep raising taxes, to keep raising the cost of living, and you never catch up. Especially our people. You people of so-called Negro and Native Indian descent, these dreams and hopes that you have, they're never fulfilled, because this is not our rest, as it tells you in Micah. But this is matter of fact, let me go up a little bit in Isaiah 51. It says, the righteous perisheth, and no man layeth to heart, and merciful men are taken away, none considering that the righteous is taken away from the evil to come. Right, there's an evil that's coming to this world. You're not going to see, if you're a Jake that's 20, 30, 40 years old, even 50, you're not going to live to see your life's work being given some type of great cash reward. You're not going to live to see that, because all hell is about to break loose. There's going to be martial law, all right, World War III, famines, pestilence. America's about to be destroyed. So if you dedicated your whole life, ultimately, if you're an old nigga, like if you're a boomer, or you know, our parents' generation, some of our big brothers' generations, all right, it's actually mercy for you to get put to death. All right, you don't want to be an old man during Jacob's trouble. You don't want to be someone that is physically disabled. You know, your joints are all broken down. You don't want to be in that kind of condition when all holy hell is breaking. People are running around killing each other for food. Here you are, you're 90 years old. You're like, I've worked my whole life. You better off dead, man. All right, it's really mercy from Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. And a lot of us, you know, we lose our loved ones when you don't have the truth. That's, you know, it could be devastating. You're like you crying and all of this, which you may still cry. You know, we're in the flesh, but in the truth, man, all these old Jakes, if they get put to death, that's really mercy from Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. But this is let me get this, because one thing about retirement plans, they all revolve around delayed gratification. They all involve you taking a piece of what you're working for now and investing it in the future with hopes of a big payoff. And us in this truth, you know, those of us are the hopeful elect, those of us that have presented our bodies as a living sacrifice to serve the Lord, we delay gratification because we want to pay off in the kingdom of heaven. These people in the world, they put off instant gratification with the hopes of getting rich when they're 65 years old, 67 years old, 70 years old. Or you have all these plans where, you know, first of all, they keep pushing back the age of retirement because they don't have, Esau's broke, man. Esau's flat broke. And so he wants you to work into the bone. Okay, well, you worked until you're 60, just work 5 more years. Okay, you worked until you're 65, now just work 2 more years. Then you have people that are like 70 years old, they're relying on Social Security and different pension plans. They still have to get a side hustle. Your grandmother got a side hustle, man. This is off. All right, this kingdom is wicked as hell. But this is Revelation 14. I'm gonna start at verse 12. It says, "Here is the patience of the saints. Here are they that keep the commandments of Yahweh and the faith of Yahweh Shai." Right, those of us that follow the word, we follow the Lamb whithersoever he goes. It says, "And I heard a voice from heaven saying unto me, Right, blessed are the dead which die in the Lord from henceforth. Yea, saith the Spirit, that they may rest from all their labors, and their works do follow them." So this is a plan in which the works that you're doing right now, they benefit even after you die. Esau can't offer you anything in the afterlife. First of all, he taxes you when you die, man. This man taxes the dead. All right, you have assets, you want to pass them on to your children. This devil will tax. He spent your whole life taxing you. Now, whatever you've amassed your whole life that he didn't steal, you want to pass it down to your children. He taxes that, man. He taxes the dead. All right, but the scriptures are telling you that if you serve Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, your works follow you. So even if you get put to death, if you find your head in a guillotine for not taking the mark of the beast, which is the RFID chip, all right, it's going to be in your right hand or your forehead. Those of us that refuse to take that chip, our works follow us. So all of the work we're doing right now, this delayed gratification, we're putting it into an account that's superior to any 401k. It's the 144k. All right, when you put off the ways of this world to serve Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, you get rewarded in the world to come, even if you get put to death. Now, Yahweh Shai said what? There's some standing here which shall not taste death. All right, most of the disciples in these last days, they're not going to be put to death. But even the ones that are, your works that you're doing right now are going to carry on into your spiritual bank account. All right, That's why Yahushua said, put not, let me get that real quick. This is the gospel according to St. Matthew, chapter 6. I'm going to start at verse 19. And this is Yahushua speaking. It says, lay not up for yourselves treasures upon earth, where moth and rust doth corrupt, and where thieves break through and steal. But lay up for yourselves treasures in heaven, where neither moth nor rust doth corrupt, and where thieves do not break through nor steal. Which, you know, Yahushua was quoting the book of Sirach, by the way. For those of you that say the Apocrypha is not part of the Bible, why is the Lord quoting the Apocrypha? Why is he quoting Sirach? All right. But anyway, Yahushua is saying what? Lay up treasures in heaven where moth doesn't corrupt. Don't invest in a 401, which, you know, obviously, you know, anyone that's working, some of your money is being taken out and it's either put in Social Security or a pension, and then, you know, 401ks. But you're not supposed to lay your head on that. You're not supposed to boast and 20 years from now, 30 years from now, the compound interest will build up. No, we're looking for our interest to pay off in the kingdom of heaven. The world to come is going to have a far exceeding glory than retiring in Babylon. All right, you have these people that work 80 years, their bodies all broken up, and then they buy an overpriced house somewhere in Florida and just die, man. No glory, no remembrance of anything they've done. All right, and then these people. Last night I went into these autoimmune diseases. You have people that have degenerate diseases. Their brain starts attacking itself. All right, your body starts to eat itself. This society is no place for an Israelite, man. All right, we're supposed to live. Actually, we're supposed to be immortal. All right, but even when we first went off, men would live 700 years, 800 years, and you would die in your strength. You wouldn't break down and become a feeble, crippled person that needed your children to wipe your ass, man. Or you need to hire the so-called black woman to turn you over and change your diaper, man. This is a vile society. Retiring here is basically you reflect on how you wasted your life. You look back on all the years that you could have been exploring your talents, your hobbies, things that interested you, spending time with your family. You sacrifice all of these things to make a small group of Edomites even richer. All right, these people are trillionaires and billionaires. You dedicate your life to making them 0.0001% richer. All your memories, your whole life, you dedicate to making a bunch of demonic pedophiles even more rich than they already are. But in the kingdom of heaven, you're going to dedicate your life to serving Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, which is exactly what we were created to do. We were created to serve the Most High. All right? It says, while I'm in Matthew, let me get this. This is still in the gospel according to St. Matthew, chapter 16, verse 24. It says, then said Yahweh Shai unto his disciples, if any man will come after me, let him deny himself. Let him deny himself and take up his cross and follow me. Right? And that's another example of delayed gratification. In this world, you take your paycheck, you take a chunk of it out and put it away for a 401k. Yahweh Shai is asking you, okay, part of your time, or you have 24 hours in a day, sacrifice part of your time and your works are going to follow you. All right? Deny yourself and I'm going to reward you. So it's a similar principle, but what's the payoff? What's the dividend? What's the payoff for dedicating your life to a 401k versus dedicating your life to the 144k? What's the payoff? All right? The payoff of the 144,000 is the kingdom of heaven, immortality, everlasting rulership, righteousness, your entire nation being righteous, the earth being cleansed, paradise, the earth being paradise again, actually enjoying creation the way that it was intended. What is the dividend for a 401k? You get a couple $1,000s a month? The fuck? What are you gonna do with that? Especially as the value of the dollar continues to decrease. What are you gonna do with a couple $1,000s a month when you're 70 years old? Your body's all broken down. Your kids hate you because you didn't spend any time with them. Like, what does this society have to offer the Israelite man? But Jake loves this place, man. Our people love hell. It's crazy, bro. Especially these old niggas. All right, these niggas that get on the job and they have a million keys. They have a key ring with 800,000 keys on it. They have a title. I'm an assistant manager this, manager that. Bro, you're a slave. All right. You're a taskmaster. You're a slave that's put over other slaves to make yourself feel better about your slavery. But you don't have peace. You don't have power. You don't have dominion. You don't have authority, even over your own woman. Your women and children can tell you what they're not going to do. And if you react like a normal man, you get locked up, man. This place is hell. But this is what people want to retire to. Verse 25, it says, "For whosoever will save his life shall lose it, and whosoever will lose his life for my sake shall find it. For what is a man profited if he shall gain the whole world and lose his own soul? Or what shall a man give in exchange for his soul?" Right, this is a rhetorical question. What can a man get in exchange for his soul? Esau requires your soul. All right, if you jinx haven't figured that out, your soul is required when you serve Babylon the Great. All right, the higher up you go in this society, the more this man requires of your soul. All right, these so-called celebrities, they have to sell their dignity, their manhood. A lot of these dudes are getting freaked off in the back of limos, and don't even speak about the casting couch. All right, if you want to be somebody in this society, you have to perform lewd acts to Amalek, and it's positively disgusting. But Yahushua is saying what? If you lose your life, you'll gain your life. If you lose your life in this world, you actually become a real somebody. All right, a somebody in the kingdom of heaven, a real aristocracy, right? A real ruling class. All right, a nation of kings and priests. There's going to be 144,000 kings and priests in the world to come, and they're not going to be hiding in Bilderberg groups and secret clandestine meetings. You know, a bunch of demonic pedophiles sitting around a circular table with all sorts of weirdness going on in the middle of the this world is sick. It's a dark place, and our people are trying to find some way to wiggle around and become successful in a world that's created to destroy you. The only way to become successful in a demonic world is for you to become a demon. Now, in the kingdom, you sacrifice yourself on this side to get everything in the world to come. So it's still the same thing. It still involves selling your soul, so to speak. You know, the priest Kaya always says, we sell out for righteousness. You're going to sell out one way or the other. Your soul, you're not going to be able to do what you want, really ever. But in this society, you can't do what you want because you're underneath the rule of these Edomites. In the kingdom of heaven, you're not going to be able to, we're going to be under the new covenant. So we're going to be programmed to be 100% righteous. So this idea that you're free to just do whatever you want, no, you're going to be a slave to righteousness, or you're going to be a slave to your flesh, a slave to these Edomites, a slave to the so-called black woman. When you're not a slave to Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shah, you're a slave to the wiles of the devil, man. It says, in Shabbat Shalom, Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shah Barakatah. It says, "For the Son of Man shall come in the glory of his Father with his angels, and then he shall reward every man according to his works." And a reward could be positive or negative. And this is a time we look for. All right, in finance, they have a term called basically maturation. When you put so much money into a fund or an annuity, and there's a time when it's time to collect. All right, when Yahushua comes back, that's the time that we're going to collect. It says he's going to come with the glory of his Father with his angels. Imagine, right, brothers should be familiar with Revelation chapter 1 verse 7 when it says every eye shall see him. He cometh with clouds. The entire heavens are going to be covered with chariots, the vehicles of Israel. And Yahushua, as it tells you in 2nd Esdras, he's going to be on a giant fathership. You're not going to be able to see where it starts or where it ends. It's just going to take up the whole sky. And he's going to come with rewards. He's going to reward every man according to his works. Now, all of these people who have wicked works, they're going to receive an ill reward. And those of us that have positive works, we're going to be looking for, it's going to be, you know, there's no full way to put in the word, you're going to have hope. You're going to have hope that this Yahushua and the glory of his angels is here to deliver you. These people that don't have any works, they don't believe in the Lord, they don't know what's going on, they're just going to see a so-called alien invasion. They're going to lose their shit. They're going to dirt themselves, man. They're going to make a complete mess of their pants, and they're going to get put to death brutally. So there's not going to be anyone that's in between. You're not going to be halfway saved. You're not going to receive a kind of salvation. No, you're going to get beamed up and glorified, or you're going to get melted. It's going to be one way or the other. The reward is going to be extremely positive or extremely negative. And the put off that we're doing now, the delayed gratification, we're doing that to put in our spiritual bank accounts. These people are putting off to put into a 401k. we're putting off to be a part of the 144K. It says, and Yahushua said unto them, verily I say unto you, that ye which have followed me in the regeneration, when the Son of Man shall sit in the throne of his glory, ye also shall sit upon 12 thrones, judging the 12 tribes of Israel. Right, we're going to be judges, man, which we're judges right now. We have the discernment to discern between who's serving the Lord and who's not. All right, going back to Malachi, but we're going to reach a point where we actually are sitting on thrones, literal thrones. People are going to be serving us. We're going to have an innumerable amount of women. We're going to have subjects, and we're going to have that rod of iron, that scepter that's going to smash these heathen into pieces. That's what we look forward to. We're not looking forward to working our whole lives, and then at 70 years old, we take out a few $1,000s and go to Miami for a few years and then die of diabetes or some type of ailment, a stroke. No, man, we're not looking forward to dying in America, man. That's the brother, he put Malachi 4:1, for behold, the day cometh that shall burn as an oven, and all the proud, yea, all that do wickedly shall be stubble. And the day that cometh that shall burn them up, saith Yahweh. Right, that's the day that's coming, man. Yahushua is coming back to not only deliver the elect, but to also destroy the wicked and destroy all of the works. As it tells you in 2 Peter, the 3rd chapter, all of the works of this place are going to be destroyed. Works doesn't just go into, like, you wake up and go to work. No, it means the whole system, this whole society is going to be destroyed. So why would you invest your life into becoming somebody in a world that's about to be destroyed? But last verse, it says, verse 29, and every one that have forsaken houses, or brethren, or sisters, or father, or mother, or wife, or children, or lands, for my name's sake, shall receive 100-fold, and shall inherit everlasting life. So when you put off in this world, you putting off so that in the hopes of 40 years from now, you could receive a few $1,000s a month. That's supposed to be like, oh, wow, I get a few $1,000s as a 75-year-old that dedicated my life to Babylon the Great. Madness, man. In the kingdom of heaven, when you put off the ways of this world, when you sacrifice time with your children, time with your family, all right, time from the things that you want to do, when you put off those things and sacrifice, you get 100-fold. All right, it tells you in Romans 8 that the things we suffer right now can't be compared to the glory that's going to be revealed in us. There's nothing that you could give up in this world, including your own life, that's going to compare to what the Heavenly Father is going to bestow onto us. So knowing that, why would you invest more into a 401k than the 144k? That doesn't make any sense. It's like if I give you the option, if I give you a lottery ticket, right? This ticket is either going to get you $1 trillion or it's going to get you $100. That's a no-brainer. Any sane person would say, okay, if I have a chance to win $1 trillion versus $100, I'm going to take the $1 trillion. Especially if the $1 trillion is a sure bet and the $100 is something I have to wait 40 years for and trust that Esau is going to make good on my investment. All right, the Most High he's never wrong. He's never lied. He's never ripped anyone off. All right, you putting money in a spiritual bank account is secured. It's guaranteed. You putting money in Esau's financial system, that could go belly up tomorrow, man. But our people, they don't have faith. So if you don't have faith in what you can't see, as it tells you in Hebrews, the 11th chapter, without faith, it's impossible to please Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai. People without faith, they only believe in what they see. They see Esau, running the banking system. They see Esau, building factories and plants and cars and planes. Like, okay, let's put our trust in Esau Edom. Let's trust the so-called white man. Let's trust his financial system. Those of us that have that eye salve, we trust in Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai. We're putting our faith in things that we can't see, because the things that you can see, as it tells you in Corinthians, the things that you can see are temporal. The things you can't see are eternal. All right. This is I want to get back to that investment though. This is the book of Ephesians chapter 1, verse 13. It says, "In whom ye also trusted, after that ye heard the word of truth, the gospel of your salvation, in whom also after that ye believed, you were sealed with that Holy Spirit of promise, which is the earnest of our inheritance until the redemption of the purchased possession, unto the praise of his glory." And that word earnest goes into Strong's G728 Arabon, which Arabon is a Greek word. It comes from the Hebrew word Arabawan, which means earnest. Money which is purchased is given as a pledge or a down payment that the full amount will subsequently be paid. And that's another example of the retirement plan. All right, you put a little bit of money in an account and you wait for it to grow, compound interest, it builds on top of itself, and then after a few years you withdraw the money. Well, the Most High gave us the Holy Spirit. All right, He gave us His name, His Son's name. That's the earnest. All right, this truth is a earnest. It's a down payment. And when Yahushua comes back to collect, we're going to be made joint heirs. All right, when a king leaves something to an heir, which is a prince, you have a transfer from one throne to another, from one king to another, and we're going to be joint heirs with a man who has inherited creation. All right, all things, Scripture says, all things are beneath his feet. And we're peers. We're brothers of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. We're his brothers. He's not gonna see when Jake gets put on, he puts on the whole block, man. That's the spirit of the Israelite. Or you take any YN, any basketball player, when they make it to the league, when they get a record deal, whatever lick that they hit, when they hit the lick, they put on the homies, man. All right, we're the brothers of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. We're Yahweh's sons and we're Yahushua's brothers, and we get to put on when he comes back in his full glory. He's gonna share that. He's going to share it with his brothers, man. That's our retirement plan, the 144K, man. Brother put 2 Corinthians 4:18. While we look not at the things which are seen, but at the things which are not seen, the water. For the things which are seen are temporal, but the things which are not seen are eternal. Right, we can't see the kingdom, all right, unless you have faith. When you have faith, you look at the brotherhood, you look at a body of men, and you see the kingdom. But these people, they just see niggas. Niggas reading the Bible. That's what they think of us. Akim, don't forget how this world views us. You know, we get all these precepts. We mark up our whole Bible. You know, we fellowship. We do lessons. We see the kingdom. But these people, they just see a bunch of people that look like them. They see some niggas reading the Bible. They see, this nigga ain't got certain whatever degree, whatever type of status that's acceptable in this world. They look at us as whatever. But we see that the sacrifices that we're making today are really a down payment for our retirement plan, the 144K. But this is 2 Corinthians 1:22. It says, who hath also sealed us and given us the earnest of the Spirit in our hearts. And that's what we have, all right? That's like the token, all right? The password to getting all the riches. Are you going to these bank vaults? You got to have a certain password to open this and open that. Our password is Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, all right? And when Yahushai comes back, we're going to cash in, and it's going to be an everlasting, you know, they have, again, in the financial world, they have these terms. You have fixed annuities and flexible variable rates and all these. These are fancy ways of saying you can get the same amount of money every month for the rest of your life, or you can get a cash lump sum. There's different ways of cashing in an annuity and different retirement plans. But, you know, long story short, in the kingdom, we're going to cash in big, man. We're going to cash in that lump sum when we get delivered. All right, we're going to get new bodies. All right, we're going to get crowns placed on our heads. That's the first day of us receiving our retirement plan. But guess what? We're also going to receive dividends every day for eternity. All right, it's never going to run out. The investment that we're making right now is never going to run out. When you invest into a 401k, and that's another thing, man, this society is so crazy. If you invest, let's say you invest however many hundreds of thousands of dollars, you want from age 65 to age 75, you want to make X amount of dollars, and then your retirement runs out. Well, what happens if you live to 80? What happens if you're not 75, you're 80? So now your money's all run out. It's total madness, man. Long story short, in the kingdom, we're going to receive dividends forever. It's never going to run out. You're never going to have to go back and get a second job. Okay, all my savings from Babylon, I spent them, so now I got to go get a side hustle. We're not going to have side hustles in the kingdom, man. We're just going to ball for eternity. All right, our children are going to ball. Our sons are going to be rich. All right, so that's what we're fighting for. We're not fighting for a 401k. We're fighting for 144k. So, you know, Abaratazah, this lesson was edifying to the elect. All right, the 144,000, the true retirement plan of the nation of Israel. So with that, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Rachach Wadash, Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and Shabbat Shalom to the hopeful elect. Shabbat Shalom.